Hey there, horror fans. It's your buddy Phil here, and I'm back at it today with yet another live stream for you guys. This one being part two, the final part of my Vinegar Syndrome collection. This is L through Z. L through Z, guys. L through Z. Hope everyone out there is having a good Friday. All right, let's get into it. First up, we have Liquid Sky. This is a bizarre movie. Liquid Sky. Margaret is a fashion model with dreams of stardom whose alter ego and rival Jimmy abuses and takes advantage of her to satisfy his rampant drug addiction. Unknown to them, tiny invisible aliens have landed on the roof above the squalor in which they live and begin killing everyone Margaret has sex with to feed on their pleasure-giving neurotransmitters. All the while, a German scientist attempts to catch her and study them. That is Liquid Sky with slipcover. I know this one's sought after as well. Kind of a punk rock alien type of deal. I actually got this from my buddy Craig. So that is the first one up today, Liquid Sky. Bizarre flick, but I dig it. Sean Sr. in the house. What's up? Michael, Heroic Waffles. What's going on? Paul, sex crazed aliens have landed. Aliens that look like Adam Ant. Yes. The Adam Ant aliens. Next up, another slipcover that I love is Luther the Geek. You have that glorious metallic reflective teeth and title card. The back, more of the same, just blood and guts. Luther the Geek, a favorite of mine. It's a trauma movie, but Vinegar Syndrome got the rights to put out this trauma movie. I don't know. I don't think it was originally a trauma movie. I think Trauma bought it. I might be wrong on that. But that is Luther the Geek. Basically, a geek is, well, let's read the synopsis for you guys. One night when Luther was a boy, he discovered that there was something different about him. He enjoyed the taste of blood. Following in the footsteps of others like him, Luther became a geek, a deranged man who bites the heads off live chickens in exchange for booze or money. Now, decades later, Luther is about to be paroled from prison and is ready to return to his hometown, fitted with a set of razor-sharp metal teeth and an unquenchable thirst for human blood. This is a bizarre movie. He bucks like a chicken and kills people with his metal teeth. Luther the Geek. If you have not seen this movie, I do recommend it. You should watch Luther the Geek. I want to watch Malum. Yes, I want to watch Malum as well. But since we can't watch it, we'll just rewatch Last Shift. Next up, Madman 4K. The Madman is kind of the gloss here. Madman Mars. I love this movie. Quintessential slasher in the woods movie. There's the OG VHS artwork that I remember seeing in the video store. They thought they were alone. Many terrifying legends are shared around campfires, but very few of them are true. That's what teenage Richie thought about the story of Madman Mars, a hulking brute who, as the story goes, murdered his entire family decades earlier and who can be summoned from the dead by calling his name. Unfortunately for Richie and his fellow teenage summer camp counselors, the legend is very true, and Madman Mars is back, freshly sharpened, axe in hand, to continue the killing spree he began many years ago. That is, of course, the 4K Ultra HD of Madman. This is definitely a go-to of mine, especially in the summer. I like to pop in Madman. Glorious slipcover there on the glorious looking 4K disc. That is Madman. Great art. They thought they were alone, but they were being watched by a madman. Yes. He's not chopping wood. Next up, another one I don't have the slipcover for, but that is okay, is Mausoleum. Another great, great flick. I remember this is 1982, so I would have been 9 years old when this came out. I probably didn't see this until I was 10. But I do remember renting this from the mom and pop video store. The Nomad family has been the victim of an ancient curse in which the firstborn daughter of each generation has gone violently mad and then suspiciously dies. No one can explain the nomad illness, but some say it's because of the possession of a terrible demonic force. By way of an unnatural urge during her mother's funeral, Susan entered her family's mausoleum, and ever since, an evil presence has been lurking inside of her, waiting for a chance to come out. Now an adult, something is hiding inside Susan's body, coming out to grotesquely murder anyone who comes too close to uncovering her terrifying secret. That is Mausoleum. A lot of scenes in this have her with the glowing green eye effect, which I actually really like. You know, the old school 80s eye glow effect. Phil, I am getting House of 1000 Corpses 20th anniversary out for delivery today. You lucky son of a... Mine actually just shipped. When did mine ship? Mine shipped April 5th, and it is now April 7th, 6th, 5th. So mine just shipped on Wednesday, so I probably won't see it for a week and a half. You won't like me when I'm angry. Next up, with Slip, we have Mountaintop Motel Massacre. You do get a few little glowing spots there. One there, the title, and one down there. And then I think there's just a few on the back, little glowing bits. Yeah, they're not really embossed, but a couple on the top there. Mountaintop Motel Massacre, another one I remember renting. This is 1983, so probably when I was 11, I was watching this one. There's your inner artwork there. The inner sanctum there. Evelyn runs the Mountaintop Motel, a cluster of ramshackle cabins nestled deep in the Texas countryside. But Evelyn isn't all there, instead tormented by ghastly voices and visions which cause her to periodically lose her grip on reality, until one fateful day, lost in a bout of insanity, she unwittingly murders her young daughter. Definitely not the greatest movie out there, but I dig it. And that, once again, is Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Who wants to stay at a motel on a mountaintop? Don't. I actually like that slipcover, yeah. Yeah. Next up, another favorite of mine. This is a classic, Night Beast. And you do get a little glowing there on the Night Beast, which is pretty cool. And then the back, all that glows are his scales. A little bit of his ear there and some fangage. His hands tear through flesh and bone, Night Beast. And you got the inside workings. Amidst a dazzling meteor shower, the Night Beast lands near a small East Coast town, armed with his vaporizing ray gun and a goal of killing everyone who crosses his path. As area residents are blasted to smithereens, the local sheriff and an ever-dwindling group of survivors become determined to figure out a way to defeat this fearsome alien before their entire community is wiped out. And that, of course, once again, is Night Beast. This was 1982, so I was probably 10 when I watched this for the first time. Night Beast. Fun movie. If you haven't seen Night Beast, I do highly recommend that one. Yes, I do. You should get on out there and watch it. Next up, a very, very bizarre movie. You have a puppet controlling things. And the movie I'm speaking of is Nightmare Weekend. What's really cool is you do have that kind of mirrored ball. Pretty cool. Nightmare Weekend. When modern technology gets out of human control. This is another one where computers were becoming big. There was Evil Speak, and there was Nightmare Weekend. This is the video store cover that I remember renting as a kid. And this was 85, so I would have been 12 when I saw this for the first time. A brilliant computer scientist has just finished work on his greatest creation, a supercomputer with the ability to transform the personalities of bad and disobedient people. In anticipation of sharing his work with the scientific community, the scientist invites a fellow expert to test the machine on a group of debauched young women. Little does he know that his colleague intends to use the computer to turn their subjects into bloodthirsty mutants. So that is Nightmare Weekend. Very strange, weird, quirky movie, but I dig it. And I love that mirrored slipcover there. Pretty cool. Horror gang in the house. What is going on? Father Esteban. I'm so close to 1.3K. Yes, everyone make sure to go connect to Horror Gang and also go and connect to Heroic Waffles. Both great channels in their own right. Nightmare Weekend at Bernie's. Nice. Is that the back of a bullet? Is that the back of a bullet? I think it's supposed to be like a metal sphere. A metal sphere. Next up, we got Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I believe they're both in this. And this is Night Train to Terror. You do have the glossed title card and, of course, the glossed blood on the knife. Night Train to Terror. As you all know, I love any horror movies that deal with trains. I like Amok Train. I like Terror Train. I like Horror Express. And I like Night Train to Terror. And it says, aboard a fast-moving train bound for hell, God and Satan decide the fates of three unfortunate mortals. In Harry, a fiendish killer keeps the horribly mutilated body parts of his countless victims in a diabolical torture chamber. In Greta, a young woman obsessed with death takes part in an unspeakable ritual of Russian roulette. Finally, in Claire, a young woman and a Holocaust survivor are terrorized by the son of Satan. Night Train to Terror comes to you on home video for the very first time in its original aspect ratio and restored in 2K from 35mm film elements. And yeah, Night Train to Terror. Anthology movie wraparound is God and Satan battling stories on a train. But yeah, fun movie. Night Train to Terror. Great use of gloss. Morning Train to Evil. Next up, a more recent pickup of mine from Vinegar Syndrome. This is Pandemonium. And you see the rays coming out of her eyes, and the title card are glossed. Also, the lightning, I think, is glossed there. No gloss on the back. Pandemonium. Same artwork. Do we have reversible artwork? We do. Let's go ahead and reverse that now. It's so new, I haven't even reversed the artwork. This is a horror comedy. In 1963, a group of college cheerleading students were brutally slain by a mysterious killer, resulting in the closure of the school they attended. Now, former student and professional cheerleader Bambi has decided to reopen the institution. As new students arrive, it's not long before the murderer makes his presence known and the bloody hijinks resume. Even worse, the only hope of unmasking the culprit falls upon an overworked Canadian Mountie. Yeah, Canadian Mountie. That is Pandemonium. Pee Wee Herman's in this. One of his earliest movies, I believe. Pee Wee Herman. Pandemonium. Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens. That one is awesome. Next up, no slipcover, but that's okay. It's Pigs. To tell you the truth, I didn't really love this one. Lynn Webster is a mysterious and beautiful young woman with a deadly secret. After arriving in a secluded California town, she takes a job as a waitress for Zambrini, an elderly former circus performer who runs a small cafe, complete with a pen of 12 hungry pigs. Local legend has it that his pigs only eat human flesh, and that in order to satisfy their growing appetites, Zambrini has begun to murder drifters. Soon the sheriff begins to get suspicious of the strange goings-on at Zambrini's farm and grows closer and closer to discovering the shocking truth of the pigs. That is Pigs. I don't know. I just felt that this one was kind of dragged on. Could have been a little shorter. I mean, it's only 81 minutes. 1973, the year I was born. Maybe it was just too early. I don't know. I need to rewatch it, see if I like it any better. I need to rewatch it and see if I like it any better. Next up, Pledge Night. I do love me some Pledge Night. You have all that is glossed, pretty much the whole front cover, wherever the imagery is a nice high gloss, including the title. And then on the back, same thing, all the blood splatter and the peace signed hand is all high glossed. Hell on Wheels, Brothers to the End, the very end. Awesome imagery there. It's hazing season at Phi Up, and the boys are up to all sorts of nasty pranks on their hapless pledges. In between regular bouts of wetting their whistles at the campus watering hole with some of the area's beautiful sorority babes. But this is going to be one literal hell week as they unwittingly unleash the spirit of Acid Sid, an unfortunate pledge who was accidentally dissolved in acid during a hazing prank gone wrong some 20 years earlier. As the hapless frat boys and pledges fall victim to Sid's wrath and seemingly indestructible towering zombie corpse, it's up to the stragglers to figure out how to kill someone who's been dead for 2 decades or die trying. That is Pledge Night. I dig this one. I like it. I like the slipcover. Even got a little marijuana leaf right there. So that is Pledge Night. Is that a banana in his hand? Yes, it was. Acid Sid, LOL. Next up, a terrifying encounter with the unknown. We have Prey. And the alien looks like that. Kind of a cat look to the alien, which was kind of a weird direction. An alien craft carrying a being with fox-like features has landed in the middle of rural England. After brutally murdering a young couple, the being animates himself into the body of the man he killed, adopting the name Anders. Upon being discovered by a reclusive lesbian couple who mistake him for an injured drifter, they invite him to recover in their isolated home, unaware of his innate bloodlust. Leave it up to the lesbian couple. They got to beat the prey. It's always the lesbians. We got 4 people watching, 4 thumbs ups. Everyone who is watching must have hit the thumbs up channel. So thank you so much for hitting that like button. I appreciate it, guys. 26 minutes in. We're just getting started. Next up, Rest in Pieces. And looks like the title is the only thing that's glossy on this one. Rest in Pieces. This is a double-sided artwork. Oh, the teeth. The teeth of the skeleton have that gloss. Helen Hewitt has inherited her recently deceased Aunt Catherine's humongous county villa. After arriving at their new home, she and her husband Bob immediately feel a sense of unease and hostility from the estate staff and tenants, all of whom do their best to make the young couple feel unwelcome. As strange and increasingly sinister events begin to take place around her, Helen becomes determined to uncover the truth about the goings-on and slowly begins to unearth the horrifying and unspeakable evil occurring at the mysterious mansion. Rest in Pieces. I like this one. It's a fun watch. Rest in Pieces. What year was this? 1987. 87, Rest in Pieces. Next up, a glorious release from the good people over at Vinegar. We have Scanner Cop 1 and Scanner Cop 2. Big box. You got slips on both. There's Scanner Cop. And there is Scanner Cop 2, The Showdown. Scanner Cop, rookie cop Sam Stasiak has a unique gift. He is a scanner, which gives him the power to read the thoughts of others and also to inflict great bodily harm and death. To repress his abilities, he takes a medication designed to keep scanners sane and rational and from exacting harm on others. When a mad scientist named Carl begins using mind control to murder police officers, Sam realizes that only he and his unique gift can put an end to the mayhem and uncover the identity and diabolical motives of this bloody madman. So that is Scanner Cop. And then Scanner Cop 2. Sam Stasiak. The Scanner Cop had hoped that he could resume a normal life when other scanners in the Los Angeles area are being attacked, literally left drained of life. Sam is forced back into action in a desperate attempt to stop a mad scanner named Vulcan, who is determined to become the most powerful and ruthless of his kind. But as Sam sets out to put an end to the ever-increasing carnage gripping the city, he also finds himself in a personal crisis after his long-estranged mother reappears and becomes the focus of Vulcan's growing rage. These Scanner Cop movies, lots of fun. These are both in 4K from Vinegar Syndrome in a really hard box. That is Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2 big box from Vincent. Freaky Tarantino film student, what is going on? Hello one, hello all. Welcome, Freaky Tarantino film student to the chat. Next up, we have Scared to Death. Scared to Death. Victims of the killer kiss. They were. There you go. If you watch Scared to Death, you're going to get imagery like that. Very nice. Very, very nice. This is, of course, the VHS artwork that I remember as a kid. I would have been 7. Nope. I would have been, I think this says 90. So I would have been 17 when this came out. Ted Lonergan thought he had quit the force to pursue a career as a writer, but when someone or something begins stalking and viciously killing the residents of Los Angeles, Ted is asked to lend his expertise in uncovering the mystery assailant. However, things aren't as simple as they appear, as Ted discovers that the predator he's after is in fact a first of its kind and a rapidly evolving genetically mutated organism known as the Sininger. Enlisting the help of Sherry Carpenter, a scientist specializing in genetics, the unlikely duo start tracking the tedious mutant in the hope of destroying it before the body count continues to rise, or even worse, before it breeds. That is Scared to Death. The mutant in this, the bodysuit looks very similar to the original Alien, other than the head. But that is Scared to Death. I like it. Deefy in the house. What is going on? Happy Easter. Hello, the Freaky Tarantino film student. Next, we got a double feature, and these are both 4K. We got Schizoid, I believe starring Klaus Kinski, and Barbara Benton in X-Ray. Schizoid and X-Ray, both on 4K Ultra HD. And that writing is far too small for me to read, so you get no reading on this one, guys. My apologies to my eyesight that doesn't read microscopic letters. Schizoid and X-ray 4K double feature. Next up, we got Silent Madness in 3D. The in 3D is glossed. The Silent Madness is glossed. That little writing at the top is glossed. He's out now. The terror has just begun. That should be all glossed. Yep. Barbie Benton was smoking hot back in the day. Silent Madness in 3D. With this, you get a couple pairs of Silent Madness 3D glasses. I am just going to reverse the artwork around. This is why I like doing these show-offs, because I find out that I haven't flipped artwork. This is actually the OG artwork I remember seeing in the video store back in the day. Y'all might remember that. When a glitch in the computer system at an asylum for the criminally insane results in the release of the wrong patient, a giant in stature homicidal maniac named Howard Johns, who has a penchant for killing college co-eds, it's up to one of the institute's top doctors to track him down. Unfortunately, it's not just Howard she has to worry about, as the administration of the asylum has decided to cover up the error to avoid bad press, going as far as to hire a duo of thugs to permanently silence the good doctor. Soon enough, Howard finds his way back to the sorority house he once terrorized and sets out to murder the latest batch of nubile co-eds who have taken up residence in the stately manor. That is Silent Madness in 3D, like I said before. A couple pairs of Silent Madness 3D glasses included in this pack. And yeah, pretty cool. I also like the slipcase on that. Very cool artwork there. That is Silent Madness. What's up, Big Rick? Ola, everyone. Satan. Patrick says, hey, Phil, what's going on, Patrick? I don't know him. Cheetah Rick. Next up, this was the one Gore Forever was talking about yesterday with the Hell Comes to Frogtown slipcover. Kind of opens up. This one opens like this, but as you can see, not a very good design on this one, because half the time it just falls off. But you have Slaughterhouse there. That's the OG video store cover art I remember as a kid. And it says Lester Bacon's slaughterhouse has run into financial problems. Faced with the town lawyer, the sheriff, and the rival slaughterhouse owner trying to purchase his land, Lester decides to take matters into his own hands. After discovering the type of violence his hulking and mentally deranged son Buddy is capable of, Lester orders him to permanently dispose of anyone who conspires against them. I actually rented this one quite a bit when I was a kid. This was 87, so I would have been 15. I mean, it's a cool design, but I wish this part fit tighter on so it wouldn't just, fall. Sometimes even when it's on the shelf, if you put it in the slot the wrong way, it's like this pops out while you're pushing it in. But yeah, that is Slaughterhouse. Pretty cool. That's a great release. Yes. Horror Gang still in the house. Everyone make sure to go connect to Horror Gang. Have Cheetah Will View, another awesome channel. Make sure to go connect to Patrick over at Have Cheetah Will View, those rival butchery shops. Yeah. Another double feature, guys. This is Hard Rock Zombies, which is not my favorite movie. The reason I bought this one, though, was for Slaughterhouse Rock. I remember actually renting this one a lot back in the day. It's kind of a weird... it's just weird, but it takes place on Alcatraz, the island with the jail. Alex, a college student, is being plagued by strange dreams in which a grotesque man commits heinous acts of torture and murder. With the help of his friends, Alex discovers that he has an unexplained telepathic link to a notorious killer who once lived on Alcatraz Island and whose bloodlust extends beyond the grave. When his supernatural experiences begin taking on real-life manifestations, Alex and his friends sneak into the abandoned prison to put an end to their reign of terror, only to unwittingly walk into a bloodbath. And then Hard Rock Zombies, a heavy metal band, has been invited to appear in a conservative small town. What they don't know is that their hosts are in fact a family of horrific and murderous mutants whose patriarch is none other than Hitler. After being swiftly murdered, Casey, the only non-violent member of this depraved clan, wills his band back to life. Soon the stuffy townspeople are faced with an unwelcome reckoning as the zombified musicians thrash and maim their way through the community in the name of grisly revenge and love. Slaughterhouse Rock, Hard Rock Zombies. You could do worse, but I'm sure you could do better. Yeah. I'm just gonna go grab a Diet Coke, and I'll be right back. We're about halfway through, guys. Halfway through. Yeah, I finished my coffee. Now I'm on to Diet Coke. Next up, with Slip Splatter University, pretty much the whole thing is high gloss. And then you have high gloss on the hands with the knife. Splatter University, this is the artwork I remember at the video store. Yeah, it's a good one. Years ago, a madman escaped from an asylum, slashing his way through to freedom and continuing his bloody rampage at nearby St. Trinian's College. Now, years later, new teacher Julie Parker begins to sense that something isn't quite right at the small town college, and it's not long before her students and fellow faculty members begin disappearing, or worse yet, are found brutally butchered. Determined to uncover the truth behind the ongoing violence, Julie begins her own investigation, unaware that she's putting herself at risk of becoming the ruthless murderer's next target. Splatter You. 1984, I would have been 11, so I probably would have been 12 when I saw this for the first time. But I definitely remember renting Splatter University as a kid. Nice looking slipcover there. A Degree in Murder. Yes, A Degree in Murder. Next up, another all-time favorite of mine, one of my favorites, The Suckling. You have the high gloss on the word suckling, and on the eyes and the teeth, there is the high gloss sheen. The Suckling, once again, high gloss on the teeth. Everything else just matte. And then I don't remember this artwork as being the OG artwork. And I don't remember the new artwork being the OG artwork, but I don't really know why they went with that artwork because I'm not loving it. But it's okay. I love this movie. After being tricked into having an abortion at Big Mama's underground abortion clinic brothel, a young woman's extracted fetus is flushed into the sewer system, wherein it's exposed to toxic waste and begins to mutate into an ever-growing and increasingly bloodthirsty monster. The girls, Johns, and all assorted weirdos find themselves trapped inside the brothel, where they are forced to face off against the agitated prenatal creature as well as each other in a high-stakes quest to stay alive, or at least in one piece. The Suckling, it's a go-to of mine. It's so low budget, but the monster and gore effects in this are top-notch. Yeah, if you haven't seen The Suckling and you want a good time, watch The Suckling. 1989. 1989. Looks like my mother-in-law. This with the killer fetus. Yep, just kidding, but love the movie. Yep, this is a funny one. Yep, I love The Suckling. You were 9 in 89. I was 16. Next up, this movie kind of reminds me of a Stranger Things vibe. Summer of 84. I believe they are doing a sequel to this as we speak. Summer of 84, big box, hardcover. Inside, you got another slipcover that's double-sided. You see the kids there playing the hide with your flashlights game. This is the 4K Ultra HD. Summer of 84. Summer 1984, the perfect time to be 15 years old and free, but when neighborhood conspiracy theorist Davy Armstrong begins to suspect his police officer neighbor might be the serial killer all over the local news, he and his three best friends begin an investigation that soon turns dangerous. I love this movie. It also does come with a fold-upable little milk container with the missing picture on it. As you can see, I have not folded my milk container up. I plan to keep it unfolded and nice in its package, inside the slipcover, inside the hard box. Come on. Come on. That is Summer of 84. Summer of 84. Love, love, love this movie. It is definitely a go-to of mine. Just a really fun watch. Love Summer of 84. Yeah, Summer 84. Amazing soundtrack. I still go back and listen to it. Vinegar Syndrome has some of the fun films. Yep. Mackie. Vinegar Syndrome has fantastic films. I love the effort they put into all their releases. Disturbia and Summer of 84, very similar. Yeah, you could definitely do a double feature there. Rear Window, yep. Yep. I always consider Disturbia to be a slight remake of Rear Window, if that makes sense. Okay. Next up, no slipcover on this one, guys, but this is One Step Beyond Horror. Terror. That is Terror. The country estate of filmmaker James Garrick has been haunted for centuries by a mysterious and deadly curse. Everyone in his family line comes to a gruesome end at the hand of an unknown supernatural assailant. When Garrick's long-lost cousin Anne unexpectedly arrives at his secluded manor, mayhem and bloodshed soon follow. But is Anne the person behind these acts of carnage, or could something more horrifying be afoot? Once again, that is Terror. Terror. There was a lawsuit when it came out, but the judge threw it out. NDT show in the house. What is going on? Hello, Phil, and all in chat. What is going on? NDT show. Next up, a new edition. You have the hardbox Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in glorious 4K with that awesome artwork on this box. I just can't get over how good that box art is. The late, great Dennis Hopper there. Then you have the OG video store art that I remember as a kid. And then newly commissioned artwork on the back. The chainsaw blade is very glossy. This art actually reminds me a lot of the VHS cover for a movie called Junior, A Cut Above, about a chainsaw killer. If you haven't seen a movie called Junior, A Cut Above, look that up and see how close those video covers are there. Junior, A Cut Above. Duplicate there. The reverse art is this artwork, so I chose to go with the box art. Everyone knows Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I'm not even going to read the synopsis, but that is the new 4K Ultra HD release of Texas Chainsaw 2. Vincent, Texas Chainsaw 2 4K. Awesome. And I'm pretty sure that finally sold out recently. Love that so much. Yeah, it's a good one. And I mean, the transfer on that, oh my God, the colors just pop. So good. So clear. Next up, another very low budget B movie, but I love it. This one is There's Nothing Out There. You got the gloss on the eye and the title. And then once again, the gloss just on the eye on the back. OG video store artwork there. This says, Mike is always getting in the way of fun. His obsession with horror movies and their rules dictates that no matter where he goes, he can't help but expect to find a monster lurking around every corner. But this time, his paranoia might be justified. After being invited to a remote cabin lodge along with some friends, Mike immediately begins to sense that something isn't right. But none of his friends believe him. Unfortunately, they're dead wrong, and a slimy alien frog monster has indeed landed in the nearby woods and set out to fulfill its mission on killing all human males and mating with females. Can Mike convince his friends that there is something out there before the men have their brains sucked out and the women are carrying green mutant fetuses? That is, There's Nothing Out There. Of course, everyone knows there is something out there, and it is a giant mutant frog monster. But this movie is a lot of fun. If you haven't seen There's Nothing Out There, then try and see it. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to? Very different than Humanoids of the Deep, but definitely fun. Kermit the Frog's psychotic brother. There's nothing out there, just a killer mutant with red eyes. Rob Romano in the house. Sup again, Phil, Paul, Waffles, and you other fine folks. Thinking the same thing, Waffles. Next up, another fairly new addition to my collection is the big box of Thriller, A Cruel Picture, aka They Call Her One Eye. This is a rape revenge movie, kind of. They turn her into a prostitute by drugging her with heroin. And you have two different slipcovers in here. You have Thriller, and They Call Her One Eye. One is the theatrical, one is the uncut with the porn footage intact, where you do see complete penetration. First, they took her speech, then her sight. When they were finished, she used what was left of her for her own frightening kind of revenge, banned by Swedish censorship. I'm just going to read the back of Thriller. Rendered mute after being sexually assaulted as a youth, Madeline lives an isolated existence in her parents' farmhouse. Missing the bus on her way to town one day, Madeline accepts a lift from a wealthy and charming stranger named Tony. What starts off as an innocent meeting soon takes a nightmarish turn when Madeline learns that Tony is really a sadistic pimp on the make, who soon enslaves her into his prostitution racket by forcing her to become dependent on heroin. After refusing to service a client, Tony punishes Madeline by violently blinding her in one eye, forcing her to wear an eye patch. Despite her limited means, Madeline secretly saves money to undergo karate and weapons training behind Tony's back. Once she reaches lethal proficiency, Madeline embarks on a bloody road to revenge against her captors. Fun movie, not for everyone. All the revenge is filmed in slow motion, which drives me crazy. Slow motion after slow motion. But yeah, loving that I finally have Thriller and They Call Her One Eye on glorious looking 4K. Pretty sure these are 4K. Yeah. Looking better than it's ever looked in the past. That is the big box of Thriller and They Call Her One Eye, respectively. Never heard of it. I have to get it. The ending of this is dumb. That was a My Little Pony episode back in the day. This is a blatant ripoff. Yeah. My Little Pony. My Little Pony. Next up, we got Through the Fire. Some Things Never Rest in Peace. AKA The Gates of Hell Part 2, Dead Awakening. Who knew there was a Gates of Hell Part 2? We just all got the Gates of Hell 4K limited edition. But if you want to see what the Gates of Hell Part 2 look like, make sure to pick up Through the Fire. And it says, after finding a strange-looking amulet, a young woman mysteriously vanishes. Her sister Sandra, finding the police to be little help, turns to a rogue officer named Nick, who senses that something evil is afoot. However, the strange disappearance is only the beginning of a horrifying nightmare, and a satanic sect, which worships the god Moloch, are determined to do anything in their power to retrieve the ancient amulet as a means of bringing their unholy master to life and ushering in hell on earth. It's up to Nick and Tamara to face off against not only the murderous cult, but their monstrous deity. Gates of Hell Part 2, Dead Awakening, aka Through the Fire. And yeah, not the greatest, but still a fun ride nonetheless. Some Things Never Rest in Peace. And that black fire is nice and glossy. Nothing I like better than glossy fire. Glossy fire. 8 thumbs ups, guys. Thanks for hitting that thumbs up button. Next up, another glorious 4K. We have Ticks, starring the one, the only, Clint Howard. I'm Infestude. You got gloss on I'm Infestude. You have the OG cover art I remember seeing in the video store. This 4K transfer on Ticks, guys, something to behold. This is like a 4K reference disc, if I ever saw one, of what 4K is capable of, because the colors in the forest just pop the greens and the reds. Alfonso is in this. Ribeiro. I can never say his last name. The guy from TV's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. An assortment of unruly and misfit teens have been all forced to attend camp at the wildlife preserve to commune with nature. What they don't realize is that nearby in the woods, an illicit marijuana growing operation is underway, and the weed farmers have been using a pesticide which has had one very unintended side effect, turning ordinary ticks into giant ravenous bloodsuckers. Love, love, love this movie. Was definitely a go-to back in the day. Clint Howard being Clint Howard. This was 1993. I would have been 20 when this came out. Ticks. Hardbox. With that awesome Clint Howard artwork on the back. How good is that? So good. Ice Cream Man. Yep, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Stanley Coopersmith. Yeah, Ticks is a fun one. I like me some Ticks. Next up, Dario Argento's Trauma with slipcover. Anything shining there? I think this is maybe all matte. You got a lizard on the back. It could even be a gecko. Ora is a young Romanian who, while on the run from her parents, is rescued by journalist and recovering drug addict David Parsons after being returned to her home. Ora's parents are murdered by a vicious serial killer known as the Headhunter, sending Ora back on the run to David with no one to turn to for help. The unlikely pair launch their own investigation into the killings, discovering shocking and long-hidden revelations that connect the continuing murders ever closer to Ora and a terrifying secret from her past. That is Trauma. Definitely not Dario Argento's top film by any means, but still a valiant effort. Trauma. Had a huge crush on Amy DeLenz back in the 80s. Trauma is not a good movie. Argento has no good movies after 1990. What about Dracula? Next up, this is not really a Vinegar Syndrome release, but they did put it out. They co-signed Umbrella. So I did buy this through Vinegar Syndrome. That is why it's on the Vinegar Syndrome shelf. And this is Undead. This is an Australian zombie flick, kind of a sci-fi zombie flick. I love, love, love this movie. It is definitely a lot of fun. If you have yet to see Undead, you should see it. There's a triple barrel shotgun, which is cool. An onslaught of meteorites crash land in the small country town of Berkeley. The bombardment brings with it an otherworldly infection. The living dead are awoken, and a small band of desperate survivors led by local beauty pageant winner Renee and town loony Marion fight for survival in a world gone mad. The Spearig Brothers Undead is packed with action, loaded with laughs, and filled with wild twists and turns, defining it as an Aussie cult classic. Comes with a poster and a really thick book, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And that is The Undead. Actually, it's just Undead. It's not even The Undead. It's just Undead. Rob, Tix is, I agree. Yes, Tix is awesome. We're almost there, guys. We got 5 more to get through. Next up, Uninvited. Monster cat movie. On a boat. starring Clu Gallagher, if I remember correctly. Uninvited. I like this movie. At a secluded biochemical lab which runs cruel tests on animals, a seemingly innocent-looking cat has just escaped. But beneath its furry exterior, a terrifying monster has been seeded, emerging to brutally maim and kill anyone it finds threatening. Discovered by a group of teenage spring breakers and brought aboard a luxury yacht bound for the Cayman Islands, the cuddly fluffball quickly begins gnawing away at the ship's guests and crew. But to make matters even worse, it's soon revealed that the crew's host, a renowned multimillionaire, is in fact on the run from the law and won't return the boat to shore. Killer mutant cat be damned. And that is The Uninvited. And I love this slipcover. Probably one of my favorites. Just the colors on it really, really pop. And you got gloss on those eyeballs. And the cat's eyes are glossy. Uninvited is one of the most batshit crazy movies ever. Nice. Satan. Uninvited sounds awesome. Wait, is that cat orange? Yeah, it is an orange cat. It's like a tabby, really. It's like a tabby cat. Next up, Unmasked Part 25, with the title being glossy. Unmasked Part 25. This is kind of a in-your-face, joking mockumentary about a killer like Jason. And it says, Jackson is your run-of-the-mill hockey mask-wearing psychotic killer. Hideously deformed, he spends his time stalking and brutally murdering oversexed young people in a variety of nasty methods. But then he meets Shelley, a young blind woman who appreciates him as a person. It helps that she can't see the carnage he leaves at every turn. Finding himself falling in love for the first time, Jackson decides that it might be time to finally hang up his cutlery and settle into a happy life of domestic bliss. But can he really overcome his bloodthirsty impulses? This is the cover I remember in video stores. Don't know really why they wouldn't put his hockey mask on the cover and get some kind of Friday the 13th fans more interested in this, but Vinegar Syndrome one-upped it and did pop the hockey mask on the cover of Unmasked Part 25. And no, there are no 24 parts before this one. This movie's just named Unmasked Part 25. Just to be hokey. It's just being hokey, guys. It's not for true. It's not for true. Okay? Next up, another go-to of mine, The Vineyard. And The Vineyard is glossy. And then the zombies at the bottom are also very glossy. This is James Hong. This is the OG artwork I remember renting in the video store back in 1989 when I was 15. The wines created by Dr. Elson Poe have been known for decades as among the finest in the world, but unknown to the public, Poe has been using his vintning and chemistry skills as a front for a much more sinister purpose, harvesting fresh blood from his youthful victims to produce an elixir designed to keep him young forever. Unfortunately, his special potion seems to be weakening in its strength, and Poe finds himself in need of fresh bodies. Deciding to use his connections to the film industry, he presents himself as a potential film investor and invites a group of attractive young actors and models to his secluded island mansion with the intent of harvesting their life-sustaining properties. When they arrive, Poe becomes convinced that statuesque beauty Jezebel might be the ideal candidate from which more elixir can be created, and sends his henchmen out with the task of violently killing off her friends. That is The Vineyard. It was a go-to staple back in '89 when I was 15. Used to rent this one quite a little bit. The Vineyard. Nice to finally have it on Blu-ray. Orange cats are angels. David Diggs in the house. Orange cats are the best. Next up, Voyage of the Rock's Aliens. This was one of those mystery titles I ordered. I didn't love it by any means, but I decided to keep it in my collection. You never know. A group of aliens in a guitar-shaped spaceship are on the hunt to find the true source of rock and roll. After spotting teenage Dee Dee and her boyfriend Frankie, each of whom are vying to become the top rocker in the small town of Spielberg, the aliens land only to set off on an increasingly strange series of events of musical mayhem and threatens the very existence of the town itself. That is Voyage of the Rock, Aliens. Like I said, this was... let's reverse that artwork. Oh, let's keep it like that. This was one of those mystery titles. I only did that once, and I probably won't do it again. Voyage of the Rock, Aliens. And this is the last one in the stack, guys. Did anyone see the Garfield horror movie poster? Yes. Cat from Hell, Tales from the Dark Side. Cat's Eye. Cat from Hell was a fun skit too. Last but not least is Extra 3, which has nothing to do with the other two Extra movies. Watch the Skies, it says on the back. This is Army versus Aliens. A group of military personnel have been assembled to, they believe, locate and disarm old active explosives which have been left unattended at a former Army testing site on a remote island. But when they arrive at the deserted island, they soon discover that something doesn't seem quite right about their mission, and soon enough, they uncover a strange concrete block which, after accidentally blowing up, unleashes an indestructible, bloodthirsty alien being which will stop at nothing to kill them. As the survivors band together in order to stay alive and try to find a way to outwit the diabolical creature, they realize that their entire mission might have been a trap, and that the military is using them as pawns in their own vicious plan. That is Extra 3. Now we just need Extra 2 to be released correctly on a Blu-ray, and I will have all 3 Extra movies. I believe there's only 3. Could be wrong. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's the stack. That's L through Z, even though it ended on X, because I got no Zs in my Vincent. But I want to thank everyone who tuned in today to my part 2 of 2 Vincent show off. video live streams, 2 in 2 days, guys. So thanks everyone out there who took part in the chat. Thanks to the people that watched this video. If you like great horror content and you're not subscribed to my channel, do me a huge favor and hit that red subscribe button. Hit the bell notification to be notified every time I drop a new video or a live stream. If you like this video or watch the replay, hit the like button. I hope everyone out there has a very good, happy Easter. Eat some chocolate, be good to one another, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. That's my time. Thanks so much for yours. Have a great day, guys. Peace.